Sometimes the best gear is not the one with the most features, but the one that lets you forget about gear altogether. This 25mm f1.7 from Viltrox. It is small, light and priced in a way that feels approachable. We used it on the A6-400, the A7 IV, and even the A7S III in crop mode. And today, we talk about how it feels in hand, how it focuses, and whether it works as an everyday lens you forget to take off. So let's dive in. In hand, the lens feels simple, clean, and light. At around 170 grams, it's not light in a, "oh, that's nice" way, but light in a way that changes how long you want to keep the camera in your hand. The outer body is plastic, but it feels dense and solid. There is no flex when you squeeze it, and nothing rattles when you move it. The metal mount locks into the camera firmly, and it never feels loose. The focus ring turns smoothly, and during manual focus pulls for video, it feels predictable and easy to control. Because the lens is so light, handheld shooting becomes more natural. We shot stills one-handed at times, and we also shot short handheld video clips without a rig. The camera felt stable, and small hand movements were easier to control. For travel or street shooters, this makes a real difference. Autofocus is something we tested hard, especially for street and video. On the A6-400, focus locks quickly and face detection works reliably. We walked towards subjects, moved sideways and changed framing, and focus stayed where it should. Eye autofocus held well for portraits, even when subjects turned slightly. For video, on the A7S III, autofocus transitions felt smooth. Focus moves did not feel abrupt, and the motor stayed quiet. We recorded clips in quiet indoor spaces, and there was no audible focus noise. Focus breathing stayed very low, which helped shots feel stable when focus changed during recording. We use this lens a lot indoors and during evening hours. At f1.7, the lens lets in enough light to keep ISO reasonable. On the A6-400, this helped keep files clean. On the A7 IV and A7S III in crop mode, it gave even more flexibility. Handheld indoor shots felt easy. We shot cafes, rooms with window light, and night streets, and the lens handled it well. You do not feel forced to raise ISO too quickly, and you do not feel rushed to add lights. From a hands-on view, sharpness feels dependable. At f1.7, the center looks sharp enough for portraits and subject-focused shots. Details on faces, clothing, and textures come through clearly. When we stop down to f2.8 or f4, the edges cleaned up nicely. For street photography, this matters. We shot scenes where details spread across the frame, and the lens kept signs, walls, and background elements clear. It feels consistent, which builds trust during fast shooting. Color looks natural, and contrast feels controlled. Skin tones look pleasing straight out of camera. Thanks to the optical design with ED and spherical elements, plus nano coating, the lens handles contrast well in most situations. When shooting into light, contrast drops a bit, but the included hood helps a lot. We kept the hood on most of the time, and it made shooting into bright scenes more comfortable. In use, bokeh looks smooth and calm. Backgrounds fall away nicely without becoming distracting. For portraits, the subject separates well, and the background stays soft. Out of focus highlights stay rounded, especially near the center of the frame. This lens does not try to create extreme blur, and that actually works in its favor. The background still feels connected to the subject, which suits environmental portraits and storytelling shots. For handheld video, this lens works very well. The low weight helps stabilization, and small movements feel easier to manage. On cameras with in-body stabilization, walking shots feel controlled. We shot short sequences while moving, and the footage stayed usable without extra gear. The minimum focus distance also came in handy. We moved close to objects, hands, and details, and the lens focused without trouble. This adds creative flexibility during video and photo shoots. As for price, this lens sits around $176, and that really changes the conversation. For Sony APS-C creators, this feels accessible. The 25mm focal length makes a lot of sense on APS-C, and in daily use it feels like a lens you can keep on the camera all day. The 0.3 m minimum focus distance adds flexibility, so you can move close to details or hands and still enjoy background blur, which helps in everyday shooting. On the street, framing feels natural, without stepping back constantly, and it never feels too wide when people are close. For environmental portraits, it feels easy to work with. Faces stay natural, the background still plays a role, and you do not fight the lens to get balanced results. Daily use stays simple with a common 52mm filter thread, proper XAF support, and a USB-C port for firmware updates. There is no weather sealing, so some care is needed. However, at this price, that trade-off feels reasonable. So beginners get a fast prime with autofocus and solid image quality, and intermediate shooters get a lightweight tool that fits into a daily workflow without adding bulk. After spending time with it, this lens feels like one you naturally keep on the camera. You grab the camera, walk out, and shoot without thinking too much about gear. That ease matters. So if you shoot Sony APS-C and you want a lightweight, affordable prime that works well for street, portraits, indoor shots and video, the Viltrox 25mm F1.7 Air E fits into that role very smoothly. It supports your shooting rather than slowing it down, and that is exactly what we want from a lens like this. That was all. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more camera news and reviews.